Welcome to Fair Game. I'm Kristine Leahy. We've taken the show on the road and we're here in Charlotte for the NBA All-Star Game. My guest today has helped transform the way NBA front offices use analytics. Since 2007, he's been the general manager of the Houston Rockets, during which they've never had a losing season. Last year's NBA Executive of the Year, Daryl Morey, is here. Daryl, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me on.
The beard. Explain the beard.
I started growing it when James started scoring 30 points a game, and said I'd shave it when he's done. And there's been a few close shaves, but I still got it. I'm going to start braiding it, I think. So.
Oh gosh. And what does he think of the beard?
He thinks I'm hilarious, like that. Yeah, he sometimes is like, "Hey, Daryl, just focus on your day job."
Oh gosh.
So.
Well, not quite the beard that James has, but I like it. That's a good look.
James has got the unique beard. Yeah, he's got more of the philosopher beard. I got the early growth beard.
You guys were pretty active at the trade deadline. 3 trades. You got him on Shumpert. I want to know, just for GMs, like, what's the 48 hours like before the actual deadline? Are you sleeping? Do you have your phone always on?
I might take it a little bit before 48 hours. Generally, what we're doing is we're putting lots of like fishing lines out about the week before. Just like, hey, here's generally what we're trying to do. Here's generally what we're interested in. We're very open. We're very different than most teams. Team you're familiar with, we're pretty similar to Boston in that we're very open about what we want to do, because we'd rather get things done than sort of hold back and try and get some fantastic deal. We'd rather get transactions done that help the team. Then that leads 48 hours. We're hoping for some inbound calls. We're hoping for some teams who say, "Hey, I'm interested in that rough concept you've said." And then it gets very intense in that last 48-hour period where we're calling a lot and saying, "Okay, you weren't interested in that. What about X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, Q?"
Is it like overnight calls that you're getting, or is it all pretty much in business hours?
No, it's late. I would say the teams that work super late like we do, I would say Boston, and then the Clippers lately. Lawrence Frank is he's a grinder, as you might say. So.
Do you know the 2 teams that you've never made a deal with?
I'm actually surprised that's the case. I thought we had
2 teams.
And we have done a deal with the Spurs, so it's not that. I thought we had made a team with every team at this point. So
the Warriors and the Heat.
The Warriors and the Heat.
So why can you not get a deal done with Pat Riley?
Oh, so this is so funny. We really were this close to a deal with Pat Riley.
Right.
Super close this deadline. It was a deal like an hour before the deadline that came up, and so that would have been the first one, I guess. And then Golden State, you can understand, we've been rivals, so it's a little bit hard to...
So is that a thing that you don't trade with your rival? Like the Celtics and the Lakers, you don't really see that happening,
right.
Any trades there?
So there's the rivalry, but it's really more... The trades will happen when teams are in different phases. So if we're trying to go for it, we're a more natural partner with a team rebuilding.
Sure.
Because they might have a player that's helping them, but they don't need. Maybe they're jockeying for draft position, whatever. So they send a productive player to us, and we're sending future compensation to them. So those are the most natural deals. When 2 teams like us and Golden State are at the top of the league year after year, it's very hard for us to make a trade with each other. Yeah.
I know how much you love your job and how into all of this you are, but what is the most exciting part of being a general manager for you?
I mean, I love the draft and around that time. In terms of the job, there's trades. You're preparing for free agency at that time, and the draft is a really, really interesting puzzle. Like, how do you optimize getting the best players going forward? So the whole time around the draft, from like early June until the draft, is by far the best time to be a GM.
Are there GMs out there that you can take advantage of?
No.
No?
No, that people ask that. They're also, the question I get a lot is like, will people not want to trade with you because we've had good success with trades? And I say, no, these are very professional people who rose to their job for a reason. No one's like afraid to trade with anyone. Everyone's good at their job. And yeah, there's no rube out there. I wish there was, but there really isn't.
So something happened with Harrison Barnes at the trade deadline. He was actually traded during the game. And LeBron James posted this thing about how he was upset that players get treated like this. And then afterwards it did come out that they had told Harrison before the game started, hey, you might get traded. It's up to you if you want to play. But for you, what's your etiquette on when a player is about to get traded?
So this is really tough because it's tough on players. Just imagine if they're like, "Hey, you're not on your show anymore. You're on a show in Idaho. Sorry, hey, it says in your contract you can do it."
Yeah.
So I think it's tough for players. It's really tough to be traded. So we try to be sensitive to that. The reality is it's almost impossible for us to be sensitive. It really is. Like, we have so many tentative conversations that you would not want a player to have to worry about, because they'd just be worrying all the time when a team calls and asks for them in a trade. So you really only warn them, sounds like they did in the example you said, when it's like really imminent or done. The problem is almost always they leak for whatever reason, whether it be agents or teams or whatever, before that. And so you almost always end up with this really awkward time where the player hears not from the team, and it's very frustrating, but it's part of the business. The veteran guys are used to it. It's the younger players who just aren't used to it that have trouble with it.
Has there ever been a trade for you specifically that was harder than the rest?
Yeah, for sure. So we traded Shane Battier at the end, and he had asked me not to trade him. His wife was pregnant, Heidi, but my job was to do my job, and so yeah, we traded him to Memphis, which he enjoyed. He went back to a city he loves. It was not that he was away from his wife; it was like who he was traded for.
Oh.
So this is like a big deal with players. That if they're traded, they want to be traded for a very significant player.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was traded for somebody, it'd be better if it was Oprah, right?
Yeah. If you were traded for Oprah, you'd be like,
Cool.
It sucks it happened, but it's Oprah.
Yeah.
That is how players think, actually.
I get it completely. You said that the argument could be made that James Harden is the best offensive player of all time. You've got the beard going for his 30-point game streak. You really believe that?
Absolutely. So, and luckily when I said it, every show was like, Daryl Morey's lost his mind. He's absolutely crazy.
Have you lost your mind?
No, I haven't. And then after that, I was happy. There was 10 articles saying that I have a point, that he is. Yeah, so he is part of the offense more than any player really in history, and he's super efficient. So anyone in the past who shot as much as he has this year or passed as much has always been inefficient when they got to this level. And James is, we have a top offense in the league for a reason. We're winning for a reason. Since this streak started, I think we're 23-10. And it's because what he's doing is working. So that's the difference between him and all these other people who are maybe, people are saying shooting too much in the past. He's making everything
Yeah.
So it's hard to complain about it.
When you see all these guys start talking about where they want to go or demanding trades or grouping together to form super teams, do you feel as a GM an extra pressure to make James happy?
Yeah, I've always felt that pressure. When you have a player as great as him, I think he's going to go down as one of the top players of all time. I feel like it's my responsibility to deliver him a championship, and we haven't yet. We got very close last year. We feel like we're well positioned this year, even though we've had lots of injuries. We're going to be healthy out of the All-Star break. So yeah, no, I don't know if pressure's the right thing. I think I want to win as much as him, but I really want to win it for him and for Chris, frankly. Chris is at that stage in his career where this is the time. Every guy on our team has pretty much accomplished everything except the title. They've won huge awards. Both Chris and James will be in the Hall of Fame even if their career ended now. The last thing is just win a title.
Okay.